Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is Elliot Wave Sage. Like always, none of this is financial advice. Always do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes only. And just a couple things real quick. So as of right now, you've been in process of moving a local move out of a rental into my house I own. So I've been pretty busy with doing that, and so it's kept me away from the computer to do live streams. But I do expect in November the frequency to pick back up live streams. I know it hasn't been very often, and since I moved here, but I believe we will go back to a very much more frequent cadence on those live streams because I know people like them, and a more predictable schedule. Right now it's kind of like I try to fit them in when I can. When there's a window, I have a window now, so I want to go ahead and do that while I have some time. Tomorrow I have another crazy schedule. So who knows if I can get on the live stream. So if you're able to join and want your questions answered, of course, look into any symbol in depth, $5 a symbol. And I will also, answer anything you want as on your mind. And I will just give a market update real quick, go through everything to start out as people join. And then we'll go from there. And if I don't get a lot people join today, that's fine because it's like, Sunday, before the futures here. So that's fine. We can, just do a market update. Let's go from there. Let's see here. Let's see here. Hold on one second. Let's see here. And I'll be starting in a second. And okay, so let's go. All right, guys, here we are, SPY, bearish reversal. So our trade-in plan worked out perfectly, right? If you've been following me last week, we actually caught this dip, right? Then we projected the rally, which we didn't want to buy, right? But mentioned that, and then we got this counter trend. Could have pushed back up, but just didn't, and boom. So now the plan is complete, right? You have a nice three-wave move. You have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the market now, this is a situation where if it wants to extend higher, this is where rubber meets the road. It needs to do that. If it actually swings lower this week, maybe because of election chaos, then you have to say that this is in, and then we could see some major selling, perhaps even uncontrollable selling, waterfall selling, panic as a wedge as this 5 ends. Now we don't know the three-wave nature. It could easily run and still have this area. So this is kind of a 50-50 area. It's actually a no trade spot now. The trade plan is over, and now it's sidelines on the SPY. The Dow Jones it does show still more bearishness. Let's take a look at where we are with the Dow Jones. So the Dow Jones has a couple options. We had 5 down. This was the clue that the market was going to go lower. Now this is a very shallow connector. If this is the connector, then we would be looking for the Dow somewhere down 41,000. So we're nowhere near the target area. Now we started to bounce early. This is premature. So this could become a couple things. We could have an A, a B, and then we get a C. And if we do come up to this area I have shaded, that's a short area on the Dow. That would be a trade setup. So if the market wants to pump into the election or post-election, this could be a short area for a leg lower. If that doesn't happen, we should just start to sell off. And one thing I want to look at is what is this? Is this a new connector or not? And so we'll go to the 4-hour. So you see how it took a dip and took out that divergence there on that dip, and then we had 5 down and boom and boom. So actually it's a very if we do not make it higher, if we just start to go lower, this would be the new connector. This would become a WXY with a WX. So the structure would morph into this structure if we just dump, and then I would not buy it here. There would be a different buy setup. So there would be a different buy setup, and that would actually bring you to lower targets than that, and that would bring you down to 40,007. That would you would need at least a good 1,300 points lower. So if we're going to just drop hard, we're looking for 1,300 points lower on the Dow. If we're going to pump, fine, short it, and then reverse down, and then maybe this target would even come up a little bit, and then buy. The most unlikely path is it actually just goes to new highs from here. It's very unlikely given this structure, but nothing's impossible. So that's why I do like the short here. But I don't like to do anything else. But right where it is now is sidelines, and in fact you could see this like head and shoulder, maybe you could call this like a back test that kind of failed and closed right below my neckline, right below. So very bearish setup here going into the week. Let's look at some of these monthly candles, by the way. Pretty bearish candles on the monthly charts. Let's just take a look at the candle. Here you got this big wick, bearish wick. Are we going to get a reversal confirmation wick in November? I mean, a bar here. Again, SPY, very bearish candle. Will we get that reversal confirmation? NASDAQ, very bearish and sold into, very bearish. So again, the monthly really looked like, crap. That monthly close really looked bad. So that's the Dow Jones. Let's go to technology. So technology is a real nail biter. And if I, again, looking at my chart, we did not break this high. So we talked about, it looked like we were going to break it. We looked like, well, if we did, what that meant. And I have a video that talked about that on my last live stream. I won't go into it. It didn't happen. So the bearish scenario is in play. Now since this is a 3-wave move, if we do push out wave 3, we're looking at some kind of lead-in diagonal off this high. So you SQQ lovers put, you're going to see a pattern that looks, I think, if this is a top end, like something like this is what I'm guessing, is what you'll see. And again, this is just my guess. That's what you're going to see. So if you look at this, you'll get this like really overlapping wave nature, and then a massive retrace back up one more time, and then this is your SQQ, buy your puts, 20 times leverage, all that shit is here. This if you try to do that here, you're probably going to lose all your money in the sideways chop, theta burn, whatever you want to call whatever this is. This is what I think is coming for the NASDAQs. If this is topped already, I don't see a super crash in the NASDAQ like this, because then this would be wrong. This would be labeled, and this would be an impulse if that's the case. So I don't see that happening for the NASDAQ. Okay, just saying it. Now, if this is to count, again, if this is to count, NASDAQ should be seeing a 3 of 3 to the downside this week. there should be some pretty bloody price action this week. But again, get ready for the counter trend rallies. They will be there here. So you could see this one, the fun is just good and started. The Dow Jones as well, like depends. Are we going to come down? Are we big move? Are we going to rally and come down? We don't know. And then the SPY is actually in an interesting spot where could we three wave back up, fill this gap here, and then come down? We'll see. And then the IWM, again, I'm just showing you kind of what I think, but there's two scenarios, and I don't like trading this Russell, the Russell index. For me, I have 5 A, B, 5 C, so I have 3 waves. 3 waves means I could put this in an X here, right? Or it's going to double correct for a W, X, Y, where this is an A, B, C, and then we hit this 244. Don't know. If we do this, that means the SPY is 600 tops. 5 will extend. If we don't, that means the Russell's already peaked, and this is just some kind of triple corrective structure against that drop. WX, you know, WXYXZ. So there you go. So I don't like trading it. There is a very risky long opportunity here on this 210 on the trend line. Happens to be the 3-wave move between the 4 and the 2. A lot of confluence there for a very speculative long trade to try to guess this C wave. Maybe you have a lot of shorts that you want to hedge something. Maybe this is a way to hedge that. And then if you see it unravel a little, you just cut your loose, or wait for 196.63 to break and then cut it loose. But this is this could be a speculative long opportunity to hedge positions, even though it's not, you know, it's not like I don't think it's going to happen, but I believe it seems like a logical place for it to really get a good rally if this is the structure here. Okay. And then the VIX, of course, is showing bullishness breakouts. And let's take a look at where we are with that. We have this ABCW. We did break this high. It should open up more upside no matter what happens here. I was trying to do this count earlier. Let's take a look here. So we only made up 3 here. So let's just take another look at the cycle. So I'd put that degree 3 here, 4 here, something like this. So I'm looking at it, the VIX, something like this, and then a pullback, and then another push out. Now there is a possibility that since it's in 3, it could be a different structure than an impulse that we're forming. So I don't like charting the VIX here. I don't like charting the VIX here. You know, maybe we could make one more high and then pull back, or we could just spike up and finish that C leg in a 1 2 1 2 3 4 5. So I don't like charting the VIX, but I do recognize we broke this high. There it is. So we should go higher. This pullback should be supported. So if we do want to bleed the VIX off, here's an area where the VIX could find support at 1966 in this area. If it's going to do that, it may not do that dip, and if it doesn't do that dip, then we'll have that VIX spike. All right, and then Bitcoin is very confusing a lot of traders. There's always a chance of a flat correction. We don't know what's going to happen. So as we know, we have this 3-wave move, which we finished here. There's 2. I label it as 2. Now we're coming out. The problem is we have a 1 2 3 4. We don't have 5. Okay, we don't have 5. So until we get a new high above 73.6, this is just a corrective move in an ABC connector against this cycle. So theoretically, it may not, it could take a whole fresh leg lower. If it does that, if it wants to do that, and that would be pretty nasty, right? This would be a higher degree W, or an A. This would be a B, and we would come all the way down and revisit 43.4. And where do we get our target in that flat scenario? Right there, 43.2. Notice the confluence of multiple trend lines and Fibonacci's and the higher degree wave 4, all confluence right there. So if we do pull back into this area, there, I think technically it will have support, and it will, even if it were to penetrate lower, it will wick back up, and I would want to buy this as a massive opportunity if it happens. And we don't know if that's what we're seeing starting to develop here. We'll get this, something like that. But we all know with the flats is it always ends, and then it ends much higher. The flat I call is the suicide wave. It's the wave that most traders, they because they breakout trade. We break out, I go max long, and then I end up starting to lose everything, and then I panic sell and lose it all. The guys that bought here end up underwater. They sell it all. Everyone sells it. It's a big panic. And then they've all sold. They've all lost all their money. And then 6 months later, they go back and look at Bitcoin, and it's at 90,000. And they all want to shoot themselves for being weak hands. And that's the flat. That's the sinister nature of the flat. It's the most vicious pattern a trader can face, unless you know Elliott waves and know what you're in front of. If you do not know Elliott waves, a flat looks like a market. It's just so destructive and sinister. It just people are absolutely lost. But if you know you're in a flat, if we do get that, you just know what you have to do. You either have to hold through it and just bite the bullet, and ride. It's kind of like riding through a hurricane that you know will end. You hunker down, and your cat 4 hurricanes coming over your house, and you're just going to have to turn your computer off, put your shit away, and then come back later, or you're going to panic sell it, or you have a way to hedge that position as it's dropping, right? You hedge it. So you do one or the other, but you can't like panic sell in the middle of it because it's too late. So we don't know where we are with Bitcoin, but it did fail a bounce, which is dangerous warning sign for bulls. By failing this bounce here on that 3-wave pullback, so that's very dangerous to fail that. And in fact, this looks almost like 5 waves down from the peak. Let's take a look at the 45-minute here. Very subtle bullish divergence. So you would label this as an impulse. And if that's an impulse, that shows the trend change has taken shape, and that means we would expect it to continue lower, unfortunately. So you gotta respect the flat. The RSI is very close, so this could be mislabeled. It could still be corrective in some kind of ABC, right? It could still, again, it could be mislabeled here, but for now, I would just wait and see, because there's no good setup anymore in Bitcoin here for buying it. There was here, but you would have been stopped out, and that was it. So now you have to just sit back and wait and see where the market goes. See where the market takes it. Are we going to get this flat down to here, or are we done and we're going to get a rebound to get a 5th wave, right? A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pullback, or a 1, 2, 1, 2, and we just kind of go vertical. It's just tough to say. That's why it's always important to buy in these areas, so it doesn't really matter what's happening here. If you FOMO'd in and you just couldn't help yourself to buy this, this is what usually happens, unfortunately. And the worst case is you FOMO'd in at 72 and it flats you out at 44 and in a matter of 30 days, and then you end up losing, like folded. Yeah, the pain is too much pain. You can't take the pain anymore, and you just have to sell. And that's kind of what happens. So we don't know. All right, I'm going to go to Super Chats now as they're coming in. I got people joining online, and we'll get to the other parts of the market as I got a bunch of Super Chats to get through. All right, Eric, MAXN, let's go to yours here. We have the big election coming up, as we all know. We would think there's volatility. My opinion on the election, I think, to me, the most likely scenario is we won't know the winner for a week or so after the election. So I think the market's going to have to deal with that. I think people are going to want a resolution. Is it the Trump trade? Is it Harris? Who is it? But I think come Wednesday morning, I bet we won't know the winner. And it looks like they must have reverse split. We lost our charts. So we get to go back and do this all over again. All right, so again, this is a go to zero stock. So we try to just look at our current pivot and trade against that trend, which is bullish. And you can see a clear 5 waves off that low here. I mean, I see it. I think any of you guys can see that, right? Right, big pullback here. And then we look for the RSI confirmation on the shorter cycle. And you do see that here. So we do see a nice impulse off the low, which is always nice to see that. But the problem is we need to look for is it a flat of some kind. And if we look here, you see there's only 3 waves down and 3 waves up. So this structure in itself could be something like an ABC, and then this is a big, a higher degree flat, a 335 flat. If that's the case, it's coming all the way back down to break this low. So we don't know exactly where it is. Now, we can assume because we broke this low here that it will do that. But we need to look at the higher time frames and see if there's any clues that can help us out. So you have all bullishness here. You don't really have a trend change on the RSI on the daily, the weekly as well. Let's see. The weekly, you have bullish divergence on the weekly here as well. And again, you're still in the bear cycle on the weekly, but it looks like it's trying to break that there. And we just broke that cycle with very subtle bullish divergence. So so what that tells me is we're probably gonna go higher. So this scenario that I show here probably won't play out, that this is probably some wave 5 that finished up, and then this is a new, we'll get another I think we'll get another cycle higher. So I think what you're going to get here is some kind of A, B, C, of course the cycle higher. You're in a B, but I think B is just starting. So I think you need more time for this to play out sideways. I think you wouldn't be surprised to see it go back to $7 in this area where the wave 4 is, but I would be looking to buy that dip in 3 waves if it could do that. But it's just starting, right? We don't even have the first wave done. You need it's going to need to show you a structure like this before you can anticipate the turn. But I think right now you're in the first push lower. So I think that's what I would do with this Maxen. Okay, Bama, let's go look at silver. Silver was we gave warning signs. Silver topped, right? It hit our target that we've had for months and months, despite people being angry about it for some reason. I don't know why people got angry about here. And then we had this 1-2, and then we had another. It looks like could be another 1-2 here down. So again, this is showing you maybe the market has topped, guys, if discount plays out and you're getting that reversal. So I look at this, you have a lower low. You had on the 45-minute cycle, you had a 5-wave move with a connector that failed. So more than likely you're in a 2-wave here, and more than likely more downside is coming. So I wouldn't short it unless you could short it against 34.89, but I wouldn't be buying the dip anywhere, and I would not be touching the dip here. I would not touch the dip. But people like to buy the dip because they missed the move, but you could be buying the start of a massive decline. And this, like I said, this silver move could easily do this. Just like that. Here's the wave 4. It could come all the way back up here even and really trap people. 1-2, 1-2, bam. So we don't know. Of course, this is the most bearish case, and then it's just floodgates come Monday, Tuesday. So we don't know, but I think we're probably in this kind of wave 2 here, and it could be a couple things. All right, Dylan, let's go to your question. Pall, Paul. Here, Paul, let's see here. How's that doing? How's that commodity doing here? Palladium. All right, so this was our chart, and it's playing out just like we said. And I think as a couple possibilities here, you know, you could try to say it truncated on 2. I think it hasn't. I think this is a big connector wave that could be a multi-month connector wave. So I think right now you're just in an impulse off that, and I think you just chart the impulse, and we have to just kind of play that impulse and see where we go with it. So there's one cycle here. If you look, you didn't really have any bearish divergence on that peak, and neither here. So you almost looks like it's almost like a 3-wave move up. So we have either a one like yeah, I would let's go to a let me check some other time frames. So there's some bearish divergence. So on the 4-hour, I think it's safe to label it this way, like that, and then this sequence is finished. So yeah, so I don't know here. So right here, again, because we broke that low here, more than likely this will continue lower, like silver against this 114.43. But I don't like to trade it. I don't think there's any trade opportunity. I think it's a sidelines thing. But I do think that this is going to probably break down and go lower, and we could even see it take another leg lower into because of the way it bottomed, in my opinion. To reverse that, we'd have to retake 113, this 113.35. Take that high out, then I think it changes the count for me. Again, bigger picture, we have 3 waves down. Or we have 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if it's 5, then that's A, B, and then we need another 5 down. So that's why I don't like trading it. So, I mean, I think I'd probably rather just label it that way. Label it 5 waves down. You know, something like this. And you just have to do what's best for you. I think... Again, let's just kind of keep going with this. 1, 2. Yeah, maybe that 4 goes there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I put the 5 there. So there's your 5 waves. Again, I'm just trying to label this here. A, B. So you see this break right here. You have this A, B. This could be like a connector and a connector. So we could have something like this develop in here. Let's take a look. Let's go back. This has got to be the 4th wave. So this needs to be relabeled. This will have to be relabeled down like this, and then I have to count this as this impulse right there. Something like that. So it'd have to be, let's go back and do it again. See if we can do this again. 1, 2. And then this little, see, it's right there. So you don't get, it's a very illiquid, so that makes it difficult, right, to see it. But I'll do my best here. Let's see if I can label this. Yeah, 1, 2. One, two. Yeah, something like that. Let's see here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So probably put that there. And let's take a look here. So put the 3 there, the 4 there, and then some kind of wave 5. Yeah, let's take a look here. See that bounce, how it took out all the RSI? And you see that peak, it took out all of it. So we extend it. So that's why I had it as a WXY. So it's definitely not 5 waves down, and that's why I'm having a hard time labeling it. So it's a WXY correction. It's a 3-wave correction down just by using the RSI, and then this is some kind of connector wave. This is some kind of connector wave because we broke that low. Now, if this low would have held, it would have been different. See, everybody thought it was the low, and then it wasn't. So now let's look at this. Is an A, B. I have to put the B there and C, something like that. 1, 2, and then this is 3 down, like in a WXY. So it's just like a really ugly connector wave. I'll probably study it more to try to get this pattern labeled properly, but I believe it's good. We will take another leg lower. I think it's going to take another leg lower, and if it could come back and take out 114.08, then I think that would change my mind. But I believe the way it bottomed is not good to me. All right, URA was good. That one has been doing pretty well. We called that buy pretty much at the low and followed it all the way up. Then all that favorable news came out. So here you have this push down, but you see how it bounced prematurely. We never got to 29.35. So we don't have that dip buy yet. So we're still in 2. Nice erasure of the divergence here, but as you can see, we didn't reset the cycle. So I would say that this is a bottom of some kind, and we're an X. I wouldn't be surprised to see another leg lower down into this area, but I believe we're an X, and it could even be here, but we could take another swing higher. I would say that this is tough to say, but it looks like it's just 3 waves down from here. It just looks like 3 waves down. So X could be here. We could take another leg, but once we make that next leg lower, then there'll be a new buy-in opportunity. So let's just say it does go lower. It doesn't make another swing higher. That gets you to 27.80. So that would be a more likely correction, this area, and then we come down. So this is possible, but if we do want to push up, then I believe the target goes higher. There is a chance it truncated and it's bottomed here, but it's not likely. So I just kind of leave the chart like this, but it's clearly we're 5 up. We're done. This peak is over. This cycle is over, and we're correcting that cycle. All right, Aldridge, AGX. Let's go to your stock. Argan. All right, we'll go to the monthly time frame. We did take out that peak, very significant technically. Look at that massive formation. What do these guys do? These guys are power industry, telecommunication infrastructure. So it's some kind of infrastructure, power, utility guy, I think. So yeah, I mean, if you look at the chart, it's definitely, here, right, some kind of impulse off the low there, and then it had a massive correction down, right, massive correction. But let's look at this real closely here. Yeah, see how it plummeted right there? Boom. So you had this 3-wave move, boom. So this is a major low. So you have this like 1, 2 here. And now you're in a new cycle higher. Right? Like that. Then this came down. And now you're in a 3, right? It could it should see more upside. I would be buying dips on this, on pullbacks, on 3 waves. So I think it will continue higher, and I'd be looking to buy dips as they materialize. But I believe, you know, a lot of this, a lot of money has been already made in this. You know, something like that. So it's due pullback, right? It's going to pull back, but it's buyable when it does. But it could always keep extending higher. But you see this pullback, it's due a pullback, right? So it's due a pullback, but it should go higher. Now, if it wants to extend higher, it'll just keep erasing divergence on the shorter cycle. So that's always possible. It looks like to me it's just going to keep going higher. I think it's just one of those really bullish ones that I would just like, if you see it dip significantly, you want to probably get interested in buying it. It looks like you're still in wave 3 here. So I wouldn't be expecting it to go down. I would never short anything like this. All right, ZETA. Zeta Global Holdings. Let's see. This is another one that's doing pretty well. Here, again, looks like a 1-2 here. And then you come out. And then you have probably here your 3-4. Yeah, your first wave 4 is right here. So again, you'd be looking to buy the dip in 3 waves. Here you have 1, 2, 3, so that's probably the bottom of 4, and it's probably in wave 2 of 5 here. It's probably some kind of 2, something like that. It could always go a little deeper in 4 and take another leg lower, but that's pretty good capitulation. I don't think it's going to do that. I think that low's going to probably hold. It'll probably go higher from there. All right, next, let's go to the next super chat. NKTX. All right, let's see. So the NK Arta is one of those stocks. So again, I'm looking at it in this 5th wave here, but I am seeing this wedge pattern. You know, it's kind of in the wedge, but at some point we should get that to end. So I'm still looking. It's still in this 5th wave down. It looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4. I wouldn't be surprised to see it go lower a little bit more. But this is one, like I said, you just tuck away and you just come back to it one day. It ultimately has to stay above 127, so there's a lot of risk, but with risk comes reward, right? So there's a lot of reward because I think it could easily be a 10-bagger in the future, but it's not without risk. So again, it could be that one more push lower could do it. If not, this is a 3-wave pattern, so if it's corrective, we could see a big flat, come back to 5, but then I would actually think more downside. If we actually did something like that, then I may just dump it early if I was trading it and not try to. So we'll have to wait and see how this develops. But for now, that's the count I've got on it. And you can just kind of update it to count based on the price action we're seeing. All right, but it should end soon. Should end soon. Let's go to the weekly cycle here. Here, you know, we're making our way down. The daily cycle showing a little bit of bullish divergence. We're seeing that 5th wave take shape. Here, ideally on the daily, I would like to see that divergence of erase divergence. So that's why I said it could still go lower a little bit to do that. But it's a toss-up between is the daily or weekly the significant chart. See, the weekly is pretty good. So because the daily you may just be still seeing this fifth wave here with that diverge. So it's really hard to get the right resolution given the time frame on this. So it's tricky. So I wouldn't, I wouldn't like convincingly like say, oh yeah, it's not done. But I think the weekly shows it's if it were to reverse here, the weekly indicated that, and this was just showing the fifth wave nature of this wave here between this 3 and 5 was showing here. But we'll wait and see how it goes. I think it would be nice to erase that divergence and see a little more downside happen. Okay, Donald, let's go to your questions. So it looks like Nvidia's in a lot of trouble. It may have topped last I saw it. And there's some FUD out there with Supermicro, and they're Nvidia's third customer, right? And shenanigans may have been taking place or not. So we are, Fibonacci-wise, wanted to see 153, but the market may say time's up. Let's see the divergence here. This 1-2. Again, it looked like to me as some kind of end in diagonal three-wave. Three-wave nature. And could this count be off a little bit? Could we be in 4 here still? And we're not in that, so it's 5. It could be 1-2. Maybe that's a 3-4-5. And then here is a 1-2. And maybe we have a 3-4-5. So maybe it's just labeled like a little incorrectly. So that's why I think I have this big trend line, and not until that breaks do I say the top's in. So I think you still got to respect that it can go higher and hit 153, and that we're just in wave 4. But if we do break down below 126.25, then I think it's pretty, then we topped, and we have to relabel this a little differently. So it's kind of like a toss-up. But whatever happens here, I do believe a lot more downside is coming in the future as it finishes this top here. And this box isn't valid. All right, TSLL. So Tesla, again, technically should be supported on a pullback. I warned people not to chase this push up because it would say it was just an initial push higher. Again, looking for 3 waves, and now we have this third wave. So let's take a look. So you see you have a connector. So I think could have been a buy on Friday. Is this a sign that Trump will come out ahead on Tuesday? Is this what this chart is telling us? We didn't quite get to 245, but that may be finished here. So I would be looking for this area for the long opportunity right here. Now there is this gap, and if we fill the whole gap, then this will be, this chart won't work. So you're not going to want to fill any of that gap. You'll want to actually run from there and be in another kind of ABC. That's the play. So that's the play on Tesla, the long play. Here it could be a little too soon, 248. So it could still go 240, 237, and then you can get this push higher to the 300s, and maybe Trump wins and Elon Musk is the man, and he's going to be like, in the administration, and all his stuff will pump. I mean, I don't know. I'm just speculating what could happen. So then let's go to TSLL. So TSLL, again, we had that buy here. That worked out. Now we're getting the pullback, but we're in C. So we have, let's go back to a bigger picture on this. ABC down in 5. So we're down in 5. That's always dangerous. If we're down in 5, that means the C leg should go higher, but it may not take out 17. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this bleed down a little more and then swing back up. And maybe this isn't the right way to label this. Maybe it's just it needs to be labeled in three waves. Maybe it's a WXY kind of label. Maybe that's more appropriate to label it that way. See, even this is 5 waves down. If you look at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's look at some divergence is here. No divergence, erase divergence. So they're not impulses. They're not impulse. They're actually corrective moves. Let's look at the top. Bullish divergence. Barely could see bearable, but probably I would call that corrective. So this is 5. This is an A. And then you have a corrective move, really ugly, and I'll label that. It's something like A, B, C. Again, very not very symmetrical, but that's what happened. You put your B there, and now you're in a C leg that should finish out another swing higher. And then it's, will we break this high or not? If we break this high, then this wasn't 5, it's 3, just like the RSI is telling us. It's 3. And if it's 3, like that, then this very well could go higher and break this high. So if I play in TSLL, I would like to buy it 10, 9 against 892. And that could be an incredible opportunity for upside potential if the bullish breakout really happens. But I do warn you that if we stay below 1690, this is just mislabeled. It's not 3, it's 5, and then this will have a catastrophic decline. So very important level on TSL is right here. And it does seem like we need another swing higher. Will we get it to break this high? Or will it stay below? We don't know. I like a little bit more downside personally to get in. I think it's a little early to get in that trade here, but you know, people may want to do that and see. It's just I think it's a little early, but I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't happen here. So that's Tesla, guys. That's the Tesla setup. Long, nice long in the $10 area, even better, 9, high 9s, stop loss 889, 875, and see if you get that C leg. And then it's either a catastrophe happens here at 15, somewhere in this area, or it breaks through and then it could really get going. All right. SMCI, I wouldn't even trade that. That's like, that to me, SMCI is like one of those rare situations where you could just buy puts and just like, it's probably the easiest money on the short side you'll ever make, I think. I mean, personally, given the news, I mean, the news around it, I mean, yeah, there'll be counter trend rallies, but I mean, even the CNBC people were like, I bought puts on, like the people that never buy put, like the real super fundamental, like risk adverse traders, they even said, like one trader even said they bought put on. I mean, because it's almost like a no-brainer, right? They have a massive accounting fraud potentially happening here. Like they'll collapse. They're going to collapse if that happens. And this is probably a race divergence on this. It's about to. And once it does that, then I think it's game, set, match. It's going to probably go all the way back down to these areas. So this is right now it's 5. Okay, it's 5, but more than likely this is another 1, 2, and it's about to do that and just go into a free fall. And where's our historical trend line? I'll try to draw it there. So maybe the first area of profit taken, it will be $12, $13 on the short side around this area, where you could get a relief rally, a dead cat bounce. But I believe this is in a lot of trouble. And then fundamentally, it can't get any worse. I mean, this is almost like an Enron situation that's developing, a Bear Stearns, you know, Lehman Brothers. This is that type of situation developing. So the fools that bought, you know, Bear Stearns on the dip, you know, back in 08, you know, I'm sorry, 06, 07, I mean, I lived through that, guys. I traded through that. People were buying the dip on those banks, even with all the fundamental news out there. They were just like, "What?" Buy? So I'm just saying, sometimes there are such, these easy trades here, and I believe this could be one of those easy shorts that, hey, if it wants to bounce, you got a great setup. There will be profit taken. It won't be just a straight down unless they just run out of money and they totally were a fraud. But the news can't get any worse. I mean, honestly, we haven't seen this situation happen with a big company in a long time. And maybe there's more like this out there. So you need to be really careful in the semiconductor industry. But just like the banks, like there was that where there's smoke and fire, there's a bank, and then maybe there's other banks. So maybe there's other companies with these shenanigans happening. And we'll start hearing about it soon as the tide goes out in the market. All right, then CONL, the Coinbase. So Coinbase is pulling back, right? And I think I warned this was the last update, 5 up, boom. So this is the area it should find support, right, between the 4 and the 2, right? It should find support here. But ultimately, you don't want it to break 17. So let's go actually look at Coinbase, the stock, and see what we have going on here. Coinbase the stock. There was our last update, but if you look, it's a straight down crash correction. We don't have a B wave. So so just keep that in the back of your mind. Now, we have seen crash corrections before just come and end, and it could do that. So I think with Coinbase at this point, you have to think that the correction should be over soon, or almost, because if it's going to bounce and fail, then it's going to be retesting these lows, and then that other symbol that you asked me about here, this CONL, more than likely will break that low if that situation happens, and it would break that low, and then it will turn into just a messy sideways. But I would be watching Coinbase the stock, and then just time in your decisions and not really looking at this chart. But I mean, it could bounce and fail. Maybe this will retest its low. Maybe it will break its low and create like an A. Maybe this is an A, B, C structure, and we go down in 5 and we come back up in 2. But then Coinbase makes it so it could be out of sync with the stock a little bit that way. So again, if I just trade in this chart, this would be the area I would want to see buyers. But looking at the Coinbase, stock, it looks like it needs to bounce and fail again. Okay, Anonymous, let's go to you. They all dipped more than expected. I know, which means to me the flat could be in play for Bitcoin. The flat could be in play. So that's something you just have to understand. The market will do its thing if it's going to do that. And so you have to manage your risk, take profit when you have it. You can't be like all in with your whole stack. You have to manage risk. So there it is. So Bitcoin has got either 1, 2, 3 up. It's either 4 here, and then we get 5. And then we either get another big pullback, or it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, and it comes out. So that's the count. So that's the count in Bitcoin. Now, if it's a flat and it's topped here, then it's going all the way back down to 44,000 in almost a crash correction, which must mean the market's probably about to crash, like have a massive meltdown. If that's the count. If we can make another high, then I think that one negates. It takes this high out, and then 2, it also gives you 5 off the low, and it makes this low very important and very good important low. So I think looking at that from that frame, now we could go look at the stocks and see what they're telling us. But yeah, they all did more, and so we have to make sure, are we forming a new connector wave, or are we just going lower? So we had this one going lower, so we just put the X there, right? And then we're in this Y wave. So we're still in the Y wave down. So we're in this wave 2 down. So it could still push lower. We just unfortunately don't know exactly. It's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So actually this Y finished here, and then we bounced, and so we're in a connector wave. So yeah, so this is indicating that we're going to go lower. So right now So you did find a bottom. You bounced meager bounce, and now you're in another leg lower. So this leg lower will either play out quickly, or you'll still bounce an X and an A, B, C, and then play out later. But that's what you're in right now. You're in that kind of mess. The buy is if that connector wave is finished here. I'll show the new target area. It would be like 131. It'd be 131 if it can't go any higher, if it just finishes where it was. So good luck with that. And then BCHG, it's the same. It's kind of the same situation here. So looking at this again, let's look at it objectively here. You had this 1, 2, 3. You never got 5, right? We never got the impulse. We just got a corrective bounce off the low, and then we had a bounce here, and then did we fail? I don't think we did. We held the low. So you can't really label it like that. I wouldn't label it that way. So this is looks like a corrective move off the low, and then so this looks like so when I come back down here, way I would label it is we must be coming off of a big corrective move. So there's either two ways to label this. It's either leading diagonal off the low, forming like this, where you have an ABC, and then you come out, or it's corrective, and it's W, X, Y, Y's finished, and we'll take a whole nother leg lower down to 286. This area. That would probably be the Bitcoin 44,000 scenario. So I will just draw that here and just have it, but it's not the preferred view. So I think that right now I would just until Bitcoin really shows us convincingly that it's taken that flat scenario, I think you just kind of label it this way and you go from there. And we just see how it plays out. But you really got to, again, you got to take this high out. If not, it's a corrective structure. And then LTCN. Let's take a look at how we're doing there. So again, so here was the setup. We got stopped out, right? Stopped out, for a minimal loss. And now it's morphed into, see how it finished on 3. It's morphed into a corrective structure. So I always like to assume bullish off the low, but unfortunately the market is not. It's a corrective structure, again, in 3. So this would be labeled just like BCHG. So we have to look again, bigger picture. Let's take a look at where we are with it. So this one's different. You see how you have 3 and 3. So this one I would actually keep this as 1, 2, and then I would label this one as 4 here. And then see if you can get this 5th leg. It's really important for crypto to retake these highs technically, but I would label it this way for now. I mean, there's a possibility that this is labeled differently, but I just I just leave it like this. But this is a warning sign because you did this one here. You see how you bounced, failed, and you did break that low. So this could go lower in 4. And then we'll have to see with the RSI and how that plays out. So it's very tricky trading it. There was a trade set up. That one didn't work out, but we had others that did. But now this is just sidelines, now. Okay, let's go to the next super chat. NOK. Oil price, bullish flag on the week. Oil is so tricky to get that one right now. I still like more downside in oil, unfortunately. I do believe I keep looking at it every time I look at it. I'm looking at 5 down and with a connector and this is kind of where I want it to turn, and it's starting to turn. So again, I want to see this $50 area tagged with a capitulation like drop, risk off drop in oil. But I believe it will be the first sector to be supported, bought the dip, and become like the trade for the 2025 year. That's what I think, as technology isn't. It's almost a repeat of the 21-22 bear market. But I really see this still taking shape. Now, again, there's your high. $79 is your level. You do this negate it. The low is in here, and oil's going a lot higher. So I think this is my trade on oil. I still think it's down. It looks like it's trying to make this turn lower here, right? The short area, I think, was tagged and it reversed. But I'm not shorting or going long. I'm like, yeah, so that's the sell area. The sell area was tagged, and then it reversed. So I think as long as you're below 71.44, I would believe more downside is coming in this final leg lower. All right, next anonymous Indo. So Indo, I believe you're the one that asked me when to get back in on it. I think that's exactly where it hit, that 350. I think those were my words, 350-ish area, and nailed it, boom, and then we went up. So here you had so again, I'm not labeling using after hours data. I would never do. If you use after hours data, it actually made 5 up and pulled back. So whatever. I'm not as a 1 2 1 2, and then I got my target here, and then as soon as I hit the target, it's starting to go vertical. It's back on the trend line. It wants to break out so bad. It's just, so now you have another connector. So it's got to stay above 350. If it can't stay above 350, then it is coming back down to these lower levels, and the whole trade will kind of wind back down again, and so this could be a 1 2, and this could be like that. So I think so that's the label, but we're in 2. So 2 can also pull back down again deep. So we just don't know. So I have to wait and see how that plays out. BitX is again showing a breakout, but it's showing a connector with a corrective structure that I think needs to take that high out. Again, we had that buy here on BitX and went essentially vertical. That one worked out. So again, here you see you have 5 and then a connector, and then you have 1 2 3 4 5. So it's essentially is mirroring Bitcoin off the low. But let's look at some RSIs and see if it's any different. Yeah, see, you're at the peak. You're at the peak. So I would say that, again, there's 3 and now you're in 4. So again, it's either corrective and then it's going all the way down, take this low out, and the target would be, the new buy area would end up being at 1454, 756, and I'll just draw that here, right? We don't know. See, that's the problem. We don't know when we buy off the lows. Is it a bottom or is it a connector? So now the connection, if it's a connector, it's over, and that means it's going to go all the way back down. But if we could take this one more high out, then we get this big impulse off the low. And if we could do that, then yes, it would pull back again. But then I think the likelihood of this low breaking these lows here is very low. In the bigger picture structure, I mean, you have 5 with nice 3. The bigger picture shows that you could have more confidence and more upside in this trade. I mean, that's the bigger picture, but you know, it can be wrong, and I always say it can be wrong. So do what's best for you. Do what's best for you on that. Let's look at the shorter time frame. Yeah, so you got so the shorter time frame does show the 5 to the 3. So this is the right way to label it. You know, maybe I could put the 3 there and this flat, or actually it looks like 3 down, so probably put it there. So you know, you see how this overlaps a lot though? I don't like that in a third wave. So it could even be more bullish, right? It could even be this. If it's this, you go a little deeper to 27.57 and come out. So why don't we give another setup? This would be very a very how can I say it, risky trade, because it would be breaking down. You'd be buying it breaking down, which we know is very dangerous, but it could also be very lucrative. Again, high risk, high reward. So there could be a very speculative buy opportunity at 30, low 30s, 29, high 29, maybe 28. And if it bounces there, then you've got a potential 1-2-1-2 setup where this would really take off. So because the waves overlap, I think it's either that's your count, very bullish setup off this low, or it's a corrective move that's just mislabeled because we did not end in divergence. So that's why you could be buying a fallen knife here. Very dangerous, but very lucrative buy. So you better have some stops here if you're going to try to stick your neck out and do it. Okay, iBit. I think I have that charted. Or maybe not. Maybe I don't have that one. I guess I don't have that one. Somewhere in here. All right, so iBit. Probably the same thing coming off the low. 2, 3, 1. So looking at it, again, I have an AB. Let's go to the 4-hour. So the 4-hour, no divergence. So it's almost the same. It's the same trade as what we just went through. They're not different. They're the same trade. So if you're buying both of them, you might as well just, you're really buying the same. It's the same trade essentially here. So yeah, I mean, if I look at this, keep taking divergence out. Let's go to, we have to use the 45-minute to just see where these impulses are ending up. You see how you took that divergence out there, took all that out. Yeah, so this so this is one cycle right here. That's one cycle, and then you came up, you made a 2, and then you had your 3, 4, 5, something like this. But let's see here. Three, 4, 5. So very interesting. iBit, and I hadn't seen this before, is showing an impulse off the low. Is showing an impulse off the low on the 45-minute time frame. You have a full cycle here. This is one cycle here. So this isn't right. Yeah. So this would be the end of wave 3 here, but it's only in 3 waves. So as much as I want to try to force the issue, it's still the same situation as the others, where you have a 3-wave move and a 3-wave move. So it's either a lead-in diagonal off the low, or it's corrective and it's over. It's over, and it's some kind of corrective move. Some kind of corrective move off the low, and you're in a 4-wave, and I would just, it's either going to happen, and if it doesn't, it's going to go all the way down, break the low, right? In a bigger picture, it's just like regular Bitcoin. It'll be a flat, W, X, or A, B, C. And the flat target, if it does do a flat, would be at $25. This box here, if it wants to do the flat. If you could take this high out, the flats negate it, and that's that. So I think you are in this 4 wave, so the market needs another wave higher. If it can't do that, it's in a flat, it's coming back down. All right, next super chat, BTU. I think I don't remember where BTU's trading. I looked at it. I thought it was close to breaking out here of the sell-off, the downtrend. Yeah, so I was looking for this push lower. The higher degree correction, it looks like we're not going to get that. So that's actually, if you look, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, and then we're coming out. So this is could be a very bullish setup, very inflationary, guys, if this plays out. It was never my primary label for this, but we have to respect it now because it's not selling off. So this would be the label. It's a wave 3 alert. No one's trading this right now, right? But everyone's trading like Apple, Nvidia, but this looks like that ain't happening. So this is very bullish. So this could be a major breakout. I wanted it lower down here at this between the 4 and the 2, but I mean, it seems like the market is in this inflation, like re-emergence of inflation, and I believe that's where we're seeing that starting to break out. And it does look like you almost have this impulse here. We have an impulse right there. So we do show 5 up, so we could see a pullback, but that's buyable at 22.96 if it's going to do it, but it may be a 1-2-1-2 here. We don't know. So that's the count. That's the count here. Let's see. Yeah, you see the weekly cycle broke out of the downtrend. More than likely this has got more upside coming. Okay, good luck on that. All right, next MSOS. Looks like we nailed that short. Nice. And then this turned into a messy connector. That looks like it's finished. So we're looking for this C leg down. It looks like we're just starting that journey lower. Looks like it's in wave 2 off that first impulse down. And we go down like that. I wouldn't really change that. We've really nailed. Look, I mean, we nailed that. We nailed that. So it seems like we're doing well on this one. And then yeah, when this is over, we should be at a major low. But so far we've been trading this one pretty well. All right, next is Mara. Mara's like the same. Again, all these cryptos are kind of like the same trade. It's like they're either in a connector or breakdown. So Mara, I've been trying to follow it. I think I put the 3, 4, 5 here in the almost like Coinbase. So this looks just like Coinbase, right? Off the low. So I think, is this telling us that maybe we need to, expect more upside in crypto? Let's see. So this looks like 5 down. So this is different. So this is showing 5 up. So Mara is showing us that maybe crypto won't have such a big decline, because if you look, this should be an A, something like that. That's what I'm thinking we'll see. So is do a bounce if this is right. Now this could also on Monday, Tuesday just dump, erase divergence, and then negate this chart completely, because there is a chance that what I have here is really an A, B, C for a big connector wave, and if that's a big connector wave, we take another leg lower down to 1153. But we will know that, I think, in the next day or two. So I think it seems like whatever's going to happen in crypto, they're going to leverage the election situation to either cause a massive sell-off to create a big buy-in opportunity, or just moon it and everyone's left behind. And I believe they're going to use that news and let the news decide what to do, the whales. Because the whales can move the market wherever they want to move it. If they want to move it down, they'll move it down. If they want to move it up, they move it up. And I think they'll just take advantage of whatever the news is out there. And if Trump loses, right, they'll leverage that, amplify that news, and create the sell-off. And I think we'll get that. And if they win, I think they'll amplify that as well in the opposite way to pump it. That's my I'm thinking. Because these charts are very 50-50. Like I said, like I can label this corrective as much as I can label it like this, so I think you're just going to have to do what's best for you on it. But I mean, it's definitely gone deep enough off of this peak. And again, we've nailed these trades here, and look, we nailed that low at 7, guys. we waited. If you guys remember, we waited on my channel. I'm like, wait between the four, and we got it. And it went straight up. So what I'm trying to say is, people that are new to follow me, they think, oh, this is crazy talk, he doesn't know. I'm just telling you guys my experience, and I would tell you guys, if it's a buy, I go in. I am telling you right now, it's probably better to be on the sidelines of crypto, and let's see what happens than try to guess the news. Wait for your pitch and then swing. Don't guess at the pitch. Like, crypto is set up in a way that isn't very clear to me that there's one definitive outcome, but ultimately it's got great future ahead of it. But the short term is very unclear. It's very unclear how we'll get there at this point. The market has not tipped its hand. Maybe on Monday we'll get more data and we can figure out, but crypto right now, it would be sidelines for me if I didn't have a position already open, trying to wait this out and see where we go with it. Okay. Good luck with Mara. All right, ZWS. Let's look at that. Here, Zurinkili Water Solutions Corporation. Okay, let's see here. Let's take a look. Is that what it is here? Yeah, Zeta. Okay, I've never heard of them, but all right. Let's see. So we're trying to break this high, it looks like, off this low. Bigger picture. See, I have no divergence at that peak, but let's go to a lower time frame just to see another point of view. So this gives you like a little different picture where you have kind of like one cycle here, and then you're still in. This is all the same cycle. So this actually helps us label it properly. So this is probably some kind of 1, 2, and then, maybe this is a flat, and then you come out of that here with like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in 5. So I would say that this looks like to me like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And could you label that 3? You might, maybe you can get away with that. But I wouldn't worry too much about that just yet. I would just watch how this plays out. It looks like there's more upside coming, right? Because it looks like to me you have like a 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, let's just double check that again. That 3 may be the shortest. Yeah, you see how the peak is in 1. So yeah, so we probably still got more upside coming here. And this could easily extend because it's got a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup. So I would just say it's more upside coming in this. As you can see, it's just, if I label it, it looks pretty bullish to me. Now you're on 3 and you have 3, but off this low you have 5. So short term, you got to respect the potential flat, but I would say that this is how I would label it for now, off the low. And it looks like to me we have not seen the 3 of 3 and wave 5 yet, and we could easily see this RSI taken out. And if that's the case, then it changes the count a little bit. So I would be looking for more upside, and I'd want to buy the dip on this. So I'll show a buy setup if it wants to dip again. Again, this would have to turn here, but this would be the buy. If it were to turn down right now, this would be the buy. It's probably not likely to do that given the count, because it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like we need 5, and then that may be this 3 here. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm just showing a setup. If for some reason the market just wants to dump, you could try to buy that. But I don't like selling this. Okay. All right, Space Silver, African Oil Corporation. All right, let's go to that. AOI on this index. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So again, we'll look at the RSIs. Let's go to the higher time frame first. So you got a lot of bullish divergence. It's like a nice impulse down. So the trend's lower long term. So this is just a counter trend bounce of some kind. It's just a big counter trend bounce. And now the question is, will we take another swing higher before it starts a whole new cycle? And chances are that's what's going to happen. It looks like you have an A that off this low. You know, something like this off this low. And then you have the a correction, a flat of some kind in B. And then you should have another 5 up. So with the flat, you want to see 5 down. I don't see 5 down yet. So I think it's got more downside, but I believe that will be supported and it will reverse out of this. Sit this very soon. So I see downside and then big upside in the future. It doesn't look like it's ready yet. Again, is this saying oil to $50 a barrel and then it moons? That's what this is kind of telling me is going to happen. But I can be wrong, so do what's best for you. But, you know, we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how that plays out and see if this works out. Okay, Intel. Let's look at Intel. Whoops, wrong one. Intel low P here. So I wanted this push higher up to 28, and I believe we'll get there. But I believe that rally will fail spectacularly around 28. So it's in wave, it's starting to push this wave 3. Also, if interest rates have been going higher, obviously people know, but it's due for a relief rally in bonds. Rates should be pulling back soon. That usually supports these dividend stocks when rates go down. So that may be also feeding in. But yeah, this should be pushing higher into this area to finish this out. Okay. Yeah, I still think we are getting that push. All right. Space Silver. Let's look at your next one here. ORRON. Energy on the OMX. So again, big pump here. Looks like some massive wave 5 action, but let's look. So you see, we have to also respect that the cycle and like label it properly. We'll have to go to a higher time frame. So yeah, I'm going to have to label this as one big cycle, but I believe it hasn't seen a wave 3. Let me think about this for a minute. Yeah, that won't work. So I believe we'll have to do massive extended fifth. Commodities love blow off 5s, like extended fifths like this. So right away when I see a graph like that, I want to see it go between the 4 and the 2. I want to see it tag this area. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes lower. I would want to see it hit 315. I'll just draw this little box here. And one day we'll come back to it and see if that's where it reverses. But yeah, I think that's the count I'm looking at. 1 2 1 2, and this should drop. And this is some kind of small connector wave, mini connector wave forming. that looks like 5 down, right? And there's your connector. See, that gets you in that area. So I think it's more downside coming. I believe it's some kind of ABC pattern. Playing out. All right, good luck with that. Oh, you meant BITI. All right, yeah, let's look at that. So BITI was the warning that we could see a reversal in Bitcoin. I did put that in my video. I showed you the Fibonacci alert. We nailed that Fibonacci. That was a hedging area for Bitcoin longs because it was on 3. And I said the same thing. It's basically the opposite of the top, right? That we could have a 3, 3, 5, and this could come back up to 1050, right? So we did break this low, which is good for bull longs, but not maybe, it could be more sinister, right now, because this could be an A, B, C, or WXY actually here. So we'll do this like WXY. That could be a WXY. Now, if we take this low out, it's negated, and then it's an impulse down. But I believe you have to respect this flat, right? And we see this so many times in the market, right? We see that. So that's why I was saying it was interesting. So yes, it could be this, but we haven't got I don't think we have official trend reversal yet. Yeah, we really don't. Let's look at the higher time frames. Here, not on the weekly. Monthlies doesn't look so bad. The daily. You're still, so this isn't valid yet. I'm just saying this, I'm just showing you a possibility. So if the daily cycle can break that, then this is going to take place. But if we can push lower, this is negated, and then it's an impulse down. So Biti is showing, BITI here is showing us it was either that corrective or it's this very bearish pattern like this. Right? Something like that. So we don't know. But I was just showing if it were to be a flat, that was the place to do it. And guess what? It started to do it. So I would be very alert. Right? When I put that video out, I wasn't joking. I was like, if it's going to be a flat, this is where it would happen, right here. And what did it do? Found buyers, and it's starting to reverse. So you have to respect that technicals, no matter your beliefs. So if it's going to be a flat, that's where to do it. It will keep pushing higher. We'll break this trend line, and then we'll get to this area, and I'll show you the area. The worst case area would be 1036. So that would be the area it would push up to for a top, and then it will have a whole big cycle lower again. So good luck with that. Okay, anonymous DJT. DJT to me gives me an indication. Let's look at it together and I'll tell you. And yeah, we'll let DJT. So far, DJT has like predicted Trump news and Trump, I guess, emotions in social media and like perfectly. It's always told us where things were going. All right, so I do have a buy area on DJT at $21, $20, $16. If I look at this, this looks like an impulse to me. So what this tells me is Tuesday happens and it looks like shit for Trump, or it's undecided, or it's close, a nail biter, or something didn't go the way to plan, panic, and then Trump prevails in the end. And he wins whatever, maybe the Supreme Court gets involved again, maybe they finally count all the votes 2 weeks later and he just squeaks by. Maybe he sues and wins. But this chart is telling me bad shit is going to happen for the Trump team, but he will prevail in the end. That's what this is telling me. And that's what almost we're seeing with the crypto trades, almost a little bit. So just that's what this is saying to me. That's what this is saying to me. And you see the bullish divergence here. Let's go to some other time frames here. Let's go. I think someone brought to my attention, right, if I can do this right, the extended hours trading. So I think with Trump, with some of these meme stocks, you do got to use extended hours, I believe. this peak did get taken out with that. So it's split in here. There is a little bit of bullish divergence on that peak. Okay. The 45-minute though does show bullish divergence. Okay, so you look how extended it is. It's very unusual for corrective structure to be so extended. So I think what happened here is this was the peak and this was your 4 and there's your 5. So I think what happened was it was corrective up until this point, and then when it pulled back and made that final push, that made the impulse. Here. So here we go. So I'm going to label it. Let's label it again. And this may be just me hopium for Trump, but there we go. And this, this would come down. There's your kind of connector wave here, and then it would just more downside. So that's what I'm thinking. So DJT shows that more pain and then support it. I actually, if we get down below 20, I want to buy it myself, but I could be wrong. Don't copy my trades. I could sell it at any moment if I want to. I may change my mind, but right as of today, if it was trading down there, I would definitely give it a shot, because why not? But up here, I don't like buying it yet. So I would rather it bleed off more, but that's what this is telling me. Because we did get the corrective structure down, and we got very close to the actual bottom. I think on my channel we called the reversal when we did that breakout here. So you could have got it at 17. We got the breakout, so we didn't get like exact low. We wanted to see a little bit lower, but we did get the short here, right? Short trade. But here I would just wait and see if we can get down to this area, and that's what this is telling me. That's what this is telling me. All right, CLSK is like all the other cryptos. It's either in a connector wave or not. Let's see. So yeah, you got, so again, this is like Coinbase, like Mara. It looks like to me it's 5 off the low, and we're in the first push down. It looks like to me we have 5 up, and we need a dip, a bounce, and a failure, something like that. That's what it looks like to me. Now here you don't have, well, you do, you have that divergence. So yes, so you have a 5 wave down, you have an impulse down. So this A should end, we should bounce, and then it should fail. But that should be supported. This is the plan, this is the game plan. So it's interesting that that's what we're seeing here. So that's what we're seeing, and you'll have to decide what you want to do. A, B, C, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I would put that there, and that's how I would label it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The peak is above that peak. The bearish divergence. The reset of the cycle. The RSI is beautiful. It just doesn't look like, to me it seems like it will bounce and fail. It will bounce and fail. All right. Oh, Berkshire Hathaway. Let's go to them and see how they're doing. They've been selling a bunch of stocks lately. I know. I've been hearing. They've been selling a bunch of stocks. BRKB. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look here. Alrighty, let's see here. BRKB. Whoops, go back. There it is. Okay. So we had this sell area here. It kind of peeked through it on a massive fit, and now it's struggling, right? So I I think you gotta be careful with this. So it looks like an impulse and a two wave up. It looks like it. I mean, again, I can be wrong, but it looks like that's what's coming. Now, that's how I would look at it. Now, I can be wrong. If we do take that high out, it could be a couple things. It could be an extension in wave 5, like with the rest of the market, or it could actually double correct higher in 2 and still be below this high, right? It could still do this, which is always a game that the market likes to do, like something like that, and then come back below that peak and then fail. So I think it's right now it looks like the bears are starting to take control of this, and I think you just have to see what happens. And of course, if you break 444, then I think that's pretty convincing. You got more downside coming. All right. Okay, brick, LEU here, Centris Energy. All right, that's doing pretty well. Let's see. So we labeled this a long time ago. We actually called the 1 2 1 2 1 2 here. So we knew we were going into a 3. It looks like, you know, we hadn't talked about it in a long time, years, almost over a year. But we had the general idea, right? I mean, we were going higher. It just took a little longer on this wave. We had another wave 2 develop. But eventually it all worked out here. Actually, this is probably some kind of ABC, so probably put the wave 2 there, and now we're in a 3, right? So this would be just buy the dip, right? Because you got a lot more upside coming, and this would just be one where you just want to keep buying the dip. As you get pullbacks, that makes sense. So here you have a 1 2 3 4 5 here, and it looks like yeah, that would be a 3. Could it be this wave 3 or not? It might be. Let's look at a couple things. It probably isn't, so it's probably still going higher. It's probably still going higher. So that looks like a 1 here and now a 2. So now you're in this wave 2, and so the question is, are you still stuck in wave 2 or not, or is it over? It looks like to me you've got some kind of a flat playing out. That's the way it looks like to me. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this come back to retest this area or a little lower, and then come out. But it's obviously a one I would want to dip by that. But I wouldn't be surprised to see something like this happen in it. But you'll have to decide what you want to do and how you want to play this. But I believe more upside will be coming. All right, Alln, Zimmer. Zimmer, that's another one we've done really well in. And we got this wave 2 pullback. We did call this low on my channel, right? I think it was somewhere down here. And we got that push higher. We came down in 3. And now we're coming out, and we broke this high. So this is gonna be a couple things. It could be 4, right? I mean, is the market going to give you another chance to go long this? I mean, at some point the market will leave people behind. I mean, it could do this, and then pull back to 23 and then come out, or the opposite, or it's a 1 2 1 2, and it's just going. It's going to go vertical. So we don't know exactly, but this has got more up. This is playing out according to plan, but you have to be patient, and you have to be patient for it. And then RKLB, what is that one again? RKLB Rocket Lab. And what is that one doing with rates? I'm kind of curious to see how that's trading. So this one did not push lower. So this is bullish, I guess, against rates. Let's see here what's going on with it. Looks like you got a 333. So I still think it's in a connector wave, and it obviously squeezing higher. So it's in this massive connector wave that I believe will come to an end, right? It will come to an end, but when it does is anyone's guess. I'm not interested in trading it. for fundamental reasons and also technicals, but obviously people got caught on the wrong side of the market, and they just been blown up here if they haven't stopped out. And then that looks like a 3, 4, 5. So it probably could get another high even. But this has to finish this impulse. In fact, it may already be done. Let's see here. Nah, one more. I think one more high should do it. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be buying it. I would just, it's just, there's not a clear setup here. I don't like how it bottomed. I don't like chasing it, but this is obviously the structure to me. Okay, let's go through your comments that I didn't get to. Talked about SMCI already, ADA. Market structure has changed. It's looking more bearish. I agree. Yeah, it definitely took a turn for the worse toward the end of the week, last day of the month. We'll be interested to see what the follow through we'll get. What we'll get in the next couple of days. Definitely be glued to the market. Still like Celsius. Yep, still like that. But that obviously earnings is going to be a big mover, and if you guys are in that, you better use stop losses and just understand, manage your risk, and don't be stupid about the trade, because I can be wrong with these trades. So big cap oil guys, Exxon, all those stocks, I think have more downside until oil bottoms. I still believe oil is in the 50s. I still have that belief inside of me, and I've always had that, even though we have been, our beliefs have been shaken with Iran news. I still believe that that's where we go. We talked about, okay, GameStop, guys, I will cover GameStop because it is popular stock, and I've done fairly well with it. Definitely called before Warren Kitty got back, called the pump before he even rejoined, and then literally 2 hours after my live stream, he posted his first post. Like, so we're just letting the chart play out, right? We're just following the technicals, and sure enough, here we are. So now, again, could this be mislabeled and just be 3 and 3? Yeah, maybe. I'm just letting the technicals tell me what to do. So this is the technicals. Now we did break this low here, right here, like that. We have a little bullish divergence. So we have to respect that this 4 could go sideways for a little bit. Bounce, fail, bounce, capitulate, or just capitulate. We definitely are overlapping, which is okay coming off the low. Now there is a chance that it's ABC, which is a 1, 2, 1, 2. So there's a lot, but as you can see, I mean, it broke this. It's the bulls are coming back. I mean, the bears are losing control of this. The bears are losing control of this. You know, just saying. All right. Yeah, GameStop's interesting. I FOMO at 9,000 and kept buying at 6,000. Hey. Yeah, I mean, I guess if your time horizon is long enough, you could FOMO in it anyway, you know, if you believe in it. I would say divergence is depends on the time frame you're looking at. Like on the wave, it's always like the higher the time frame, the higher the resolution. It's the bigger the longer cycle you're looking at. So if you're trading on a 15-minute cycle, that's a day. You're essentially day trading the cycle. So is that conclusive? Only if you're like looking, if you're like you're trading within, like you're watching it as, you know, within the next couple hour, like that, you know what I mean? I wouldn't use it for like the trading I do 15-minute time frames, but unless I'm like, hey, I just want to have some fun and day trade and play around during lunchtime, like then I'll go to those 15-minute charts and see where things are at. So I don't think through that because we don't know the narrative. So the super crash question is, super crash hits, will all stocks crash, even the ones that are in buy areas? Well, we don't know that because we don't know how that will play out. When we say the market will crash, that means the passive investor indices crash, right? But the indices we know are made up of almost always tech stocks, right? So we would pretty much know most of big cap tech would crash, right? And the bigger market cap stocks. But what if a sector like uranium goes to the moon? That won't reflect in the Dow. So you can't say all stocks are going to crash. Energy, I think they removed Exxon from the Dow, right? A couple of years ago or a year ago. So like, what if energy moved? Like, you can't just say that, yeah, if the stock market crashes through the indices and then everything there may be sectors that won't do that, and we want to be in those sectors. So that's why I like to just trade the charts based on the charts, right? What if consumer staples moons because people want, Campbell's soup? Like, we don't know, but is consumer staples a big portion of the SPY and QQ? Probably not, So I think you got to be careful with just like this broad brush sell everything. I think that's why I'm long things and I make money selling and I just trade in and out. There's very few times I just go all cash completely, only if I'm like completely confused in the market or something really unusual, I'll go all, but like most of the time I'm trading both sides because I want to make money on the upside. There are stocks that show like good setups, like sectors like uranium look okay. Energy eventually will come out in a wave 3 grand super cycle. We have nat gas way oversold. Eventually that will turn around and all the sectors that go with it. So I think like you've got like it doesn't, things can't I think there will be winners in what is going to happen. I don't think it's just like everything goes to zero, like nuclear war breaks out all over the world and there's no more like life as we know it, like type situation. I believe money will flow into where it's going to flow, but I believe passive investing investors will lose out in these funds, and I believe rates will go higher, and those 2040, 2045 funds are going to not be where you want to be because you'll get indices down and bonds down. And I believe that's where I think the pain is. I think sectors that have never really worked in the last 5 to 10 years will work. And I think that's what I see. I don't see it like a super like duper, like everything goes to zero situation until those sectors pump. Like if uranium, let's say the U's go to UUUUU, if UUUU is trading, back, where it was, like close to $100 or whatever it was trading, then I'm like, okay, shit, everything's pumped. I can't find a sector to buy. Yeah, maybe it's time to go all cash and this thing's just going to completely unravel. But I believe there's too many sectors that have just been so neglected as tech has pumped the last 15 years. I believe it's there's a new sector is going to emerge that we'll want to be in, and there's others that we won't want to ever touch again for like years, maybe a lot of years, like that seem that will make investors frustrated because they've been so loved for so long, and I believe they won't go anywhere for a long time or lower. In fact, that's what my thoughts are on that. Anyway, guys, so I think I covered everyone's questions. RX is kind of ready to kind of come out, I think, but I don't like it per se because it hadn't really moved with all that market movement already that we saw take place. So that's a warning sign, hidden bearish divergence there. So yeah, I think Amazon, guys, Amazon is bullish long term. I like the structure, but short term, like you always have to respect more pain. To me, I can't see. No, see, Amazon's the one that, hey, if the SPY is going to go down significantly, I think Amazon has to get hit with all these the big caps. But maybe there's one outlier out there. We don't know. I doubt it. I think, like I said, I think it's the sectors that just you never trade, never heard of. They're the ones that may actually work in whatever bear market is coming, and I believe the other sectors are in a lot of danger. A lot of danger is my opinion. Yeah, I think RX would probably, like, it should have moved, right? We saw Serve, right, pumping. We saw Symbiote SYM pumping. Even saw Hound pump. We saw some of the stocks I follow move. That didn't. So if it didn't move, that so it just kind of head scratcher. Like, it's kind of like, yeah, but technically, like GameStop, the chart has been holding up. So if you just got to be super patient, and the chart will play out on RX if you're just patient enough. But I can't buy everything out there, so I'm not buying everything. But it is out there. It just seems like a good setup to me. But it's just not. For some reason, it's taking a long time to develop it out. All right, guys, that's all I got. Good luck trading. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Live stream will be hard tomorrow, but obviously election day, post-election, I'll try to live stream as much as I can. I got to imagine it's going to be super volatile and chaotic. I can't imagine that it won't be. All right.